The African Games are regarded as Africa's version of the Olympics. 53 African nations from everywhere across the continent will be fighting for the right to be named the best sporting nation on the African continent. And believe it or not, the African Games is probably one of the only competitions in the world where you can win even by losing, as it was what happened to Nigeria today in the women's singles event of the table tennis event, where Nigeria actually lost, but won a bronze medal. We'll be telling you about that and much more on the show. Welcome to Game On, the Tuesday night edition. My name is Babatunde Quick. We call it the Terrific Tuesday edition, and thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, we're streaming live on YouTube, and you can also follow us on our social media handles, X, Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok. Many thanks for joining us from wherever you are in the world. The good thing about this show is that I never do it alone. I have with me in the studio, first to my immediate right, Wale Adegu, sports broadcaster extraordinaire, also a podcaster as well, a small man with big opinions about sports anywhere in the world. Wale, it's an absolute pleasure to have you in the studio again.
Yeah, it's great to be here, and Friday was good. And,
Tuesday promises to be even better.
Terrific.
That's what I want to hear. That's exactly what I want to hear. And to my far right is a man I have tremendous respect for. One of the best journalists this country has ever produced, former media officer of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, former special assistant to the former Minister of Sports, a man with tremendous acclaim all across Nigeria. It is an honor and a pleasure to share the same set once again with Tony Ibitoye. I don't know, I'm just having goosebumps this seminar moment, Tony. Thank you so much for joining us on Game On.
Thank you so much for this opportunity today. I'm so happy to be here.
You're happy. I'm ecstatic. I don't know what to say. It's not every day that you get a whole Toy Bitoy in the studio with you, but it promises to be a great show. We'll be bringing some of the best journalists that this country has to offer, administrators, athletes, footballers, name them. You will find them here on Game On over the next few weeks. We start the show in a very interesting fashion because, believe it or not, the African Games have begun in Ghana and Nigeria has won its first medal. It's not from the usual suspect. It actually came in the most surprising of circumstances. Offiong Edem, who played in the semi-final of the women's singles event of the table tennis, women's table tennis singles, actually lost in that semi-final to Africa's #1 player, Dina Meshref, but she ended up with a bronze medal for her effort. So good one for Nigeria, Tony, considering the fact that the games have started and Nigeria has gotten off on a fairly good note.
Yeah, so already guaranteed for Nigeria is this bronze by Offiong, and at least a silver medal in the men's singles event, because Aruna Quadri is also going to be playing the final later today against Omar Assar. But you know, in tournaments of this nature, once you get into the semi-finals, you are guaranteed a medal. So the losing finalists, the two losing finalists will both go home with bronze medals. But it's good that officially the games have not started, but the medals have started counting for Nigeria.
True. Well, but Wale, I think Tony has already alluded to the fact that Nigeria is and Africa's #1 table tennis player, Aruna Quadri, will be facing his good friend and his greatest rival in Africa, Omar Assar. It seems that these two men cannot be separated.
Oh, yeah. And it just defines the spirit of table tennis in Africa. Aruna, this moment is winning. The next moment, it's the other guy winning. But I think that Aruna has got the edge this time because he's a bit well rested. He wasn't in Singapore a couple of weeks ago.
No, he wasn't, for the World Table Tennis Championship.
I think he had food poisoning or something like that and opted out of that competition, so he's fresher for this one against his Egyptian opponent. But I'm very much happy for Offiong Edem, who has been around for a long time. A lot of people don't know that Offiong was at the Athens Olympics in 2004. That's how far back she goes. And she also credited the WTT that they went to a couple of weeks ago in South Korea that helped, prune her up for this competition. So I'm happy. But in another light, I want to see other players also come through. I mean, Offiong has been there forever. But the African Games, I think, should be another platform to see other younger table tennis players come through. That is exactly
what's happening. I mean, Matthew Kuti, who was the 12-year-old Matthew Kuti, who made history last year, becoming the first Nigerian player to win 2 national competitions in the space of 24 hours. He was at this competition. He won his first game, lost the second one. But I mean, it's good experience for him. Considering the fact that we're bringing through the likes of Hope Okwaka as well, who's another young, enterprising women's player as well. The NTTF said it is their duty now to bring through the next generation who will be taking over from the likes of Anura Kodin.
I mean, you had Wale talking about Ofiom being around in 2004. Now Kuti is here. Somebody in another 20, 25 years will be talking about Kuti. But don't forget that he's going as a 12-year-old. So that's one thing about these table tennis players. They start so early and they are there for a long time. But I think the challenge is, if you are good enough to knock us off, then do it.
True.
If you're not able to knock us off, then we stay for as long as we.
So it's not
we
a
can
matter
stay.
of age.
It's not a matter of age. I mean, in fact, the older you get on board, the better for you, because you gain the experience, you learn some lessons. You are, I mean, streetwise, you know what to do. I mean, you saw Toriola, how many Olympics? About 6 or 7.
He's now the coach of the team.
Is the team coach now. Funke Oshonaike as well. How many Olympics has she gone to? So you see, longevity is part of the game in table tennis. You start early, and then they are able to stay on for a long time. And that's the same thing with Ofionedem and our friend Cecilia O2. Yeah. So, but I'm happy that at least she has a bronze. Exactly what she got the last time I think in Morocco.
Morocco,
yeah. So she's just I mean, happy that she has gotten Nigeria on the medals table. But whether she'll be back again in another 4 years. Is a different story.
And I saw one viral picture last week. It was the picture of Arnaud Quadri's kids playing at a junior tournament in Spain.
Yes.
Exactly. So that's another
generation. I think he won a medal.
He won a medal.
I mean, it's Arnaud Quadri.
I think his wife plays as well.
It's a family of table tennis players. So it's good. It's good that some of these players are also, Funke, I think also is trying to raise a few new generation of players. I'm happy to see these old guys investing in the game, producing young stars, something that they didn't really enjoy.
In their time.
In their own time, they are doing for the next generation. So when these legends are grooming you, then you know that it's in a matter of time, you'll be at the very top.
The surprising thing for me is that despite all his talents and everything he has, all his accolades, Arnaud Quadri has never won the African Games. He lost out in 2015, lost out in 2019 as well. So we are wishing him all the very best.
His nemesis.
Yeah, and we're wishing him all the very best in the final later in the next few minutes when he faces Omar Asaba. Let's quickly take a listen to Cecilia Ofiong, I beg your pardon, Edem Ofiong, who won a bronze medal for Nigeria today.
I feel super excited. I am so proud to be the first person to win a medal in this game. It's been tough, and I really put in my best. And I had this opportunity to play well because we were in World Championship, and this helped a lot. And I want to thank the Nigerian Federation for making that possible to go to World Championship, because that served like a training tour, and that is the reason why I did very well here. You know, the Egyptian, the reason why they are at the top, they play a lot of tournaments. We don't have that opportunity, but nevertheless, I am always very calm whenever I'm in a tournament. I don't feel stressed for anything. I just try to do my best. I try to make sure I put in my best, and always about the Egyptian, they are very good. Like Dina, she's a world-class player, and she had this opportunity to play everywhere. I enjoy playing with her. She's very strong, but I did my best.
Out of that country, very controversial news early today is that the Director General of the National Sports Authority of Ghana, Dr. Peter Tumasi, and his chief accountant, they have been fired after struggling to explain how part of the monies received for the events in Accra were paid into two separate accounts. They appeared before Public Accounts Committee of the Ghanaian legislature, but these two gentlemen could not explain exactly how monies meant for the games were paid into two separate accounts. Toyin, it's symptomatic of Africa, how these things happen. But the good thing about it is that it seems that the authorities are quick to
stamp the authority and nip it in the bud.
Exactly, because if you do recall at the Africa Cup of Nations, the Prime Minister and the Minister of Sports of Côte d'Ivoire were fired after there were some discrepancies regarding the building of the main host system in Ebimpe, in order to ensure that
they had a dress rehearsal, and then the floods took over the pitch.
Was flooded, yes.
So it was embarrassing for the government, yeah. So when you embarrass government, this is what you get. I mean, participants are already in Accra. and there are different stories about how some facilities are not ready yet, how some games are in danger of being cancelled. It's really embarrassing when, everybody, the entire continent is already in Accra, and then you are trying to, scamper from one place to the other looking for where to stay, explanations, and then you cannot come up with a reasonable defense. It's really embarrassing. I've not heard from his own side, so it's difficult to come out to say whether he was in the right or in the wrong. But for the government of the day to have taken a decision means probably they are not convinced with whatever explanation he has given. And it's so sad that we still have governance issues, corruption issues around major competitions. And you can't defend putting facilities in place. The facilities we can't see, and then the money now we are seeing in two different.
You must agree that it is so much better than in Nigeria, where we heard that wild animals made away with monies. I think it was a snake one time. There was also a certain, $250,000 that disappeared from the Nigerian Football Federation many years ago that is still unaccounted for. So it seems to be an African thing.
Yeah, it's worrying. And the right word Toye used was it's embarrassing, because this is money that was meant to be for a certain project. And Ghana, I think, were in the eye of the storm in the AFCON as well, because there were talks about how over $30 million was budgeted for a tournament where the prize...
Not just this one. Yes, they've been budgeting for several tournaments.
The prize money for winning the AFCON is $7 million. And the budget was running...
And they always don't go beyond the first round.
So it's maybe it's becoming a Ghanaian thing here. But I must also give credit that I think that I've seen, pictures I've heard from athletes. They've put in a show, for the African Games. A lot of things are on ground in Accra. I think they have two venues, Accra and another city.
And one, I think, a university stadium.
Yeah, exactly. So
they're gone as well.
Yeah, but this is just a stain, but hopefully they can bounce back from it and, find a way around it.
Okay, hopefully Ghana can rise above this particular, I say, small issue that is threatening to derail the integrity of the games. Let's move away from that and talk about the Nigeria Professional Football League. One match was played today at the Pantami Stadium in Gombe. It was Gombe United hosting Shooting Stars of Ibadan, and it was a good result for Shooting Stars. And that match ended 1-1. That's one goal apiece for both the home team and, of course, the away team. Really good result for Shooting Stars on the road, Tony. They're not exactly good travelers, but you must admit the Pantami Stadium is not an easy place to go. So to get a point there, they must be applauded.
Definitely. Shooting Stars have also been struggling, and to have gone to Gombe to pick a point, not just a barren draw, but actually scoring a goal, is good for Shooting Stars. And for Gombe United, they've really struggled. And I'm not surprised that they didn't win this one. Yesterday, it was Sporting Lagos that went visiting.
Yeah,
and came out
Doma United.
Yeah. So these Gombe teams are finding it difficult to win games at home. But for Shooting Stars, I think they can be happy. Just a couple of days ago, there were reports about the fans complaining about Coach Benga Gumbote, and then
the fans always complain about
the management of the team came out in his support and said, look, we are behind him all the way, and this is a good way to show the management that their faith in you is not misplaced. Go to a difficult place like Gombe and come back with a
good
point.
result.
Yeah.
Incredible result. So good for Shooting Stars who are away from home in that particular encounter. Let's quickly show you the top 6 in the Nigeria Professional Football League as it currently stands. Lobby Stars still leading the way with 42 points, followed by Plateau United, who have been in great form as well. They have 41 points. But how about this? Rangers United, Enugu Rangers, we talked about them. 5 consecutive wins, 5 clean sheets. Home and away, they are the form team of the Nigeria Professional Football. This is almost a miracle. That almost never happens. 5 consecutive wins in the NPFL. Something is definitely going on right in Enugu. And of course, it might be the magic that the general manager is probably bringing onto the pitch. We hear he has been registered as a player now. So he actually played in that game.
That's really amazing. Amobi, yeah.
We are going to the Amobi Ezako audition. We really want to know exactly what he is doing right. But Rebel Stars in 4th place as well. And just outside the top 4, Eimba and Kano Pillars there as well. Kano Pillars surprisingly losing at home. That almost never happens. But let's show you the bottom 6 now. We talked about Gombe United. They are not looking particularly good as well. 2nd from bottom, just above Heartland. And everybody's still wondering, why does Christian Obi still have a job? 19 games. I don't think he's had a win in 19 games. But for some reason, Maybe you know better. But
I don't understand what is going on with Heartland.
No, I don't either.
They were struggling. They were not winning games. They told Christian Obi to take a walk, and then brought in Kennedy Boboye. Boboye came and started getting results, getting points, winning, and all of that. And then suddenly, when it looked like, oh, good, the team looks now settled. We are getting some victories under the belt. We are picking some points away from home. Remember, they came to Lagos, I think, and got the point of Sporting Lagos.
Yeah.
So suddenly, they started getting the results, and then people at the top in Imo State felt, look, the team is back. Let's bring Christian Obi back and tell the man, Kennedy Boboye to go. At least he has given us a semblance of what the team is, and we are now beginning to get the result. And immediately, Boboye was sent packing, we came back, and the results went back. And now, I mean, the last game was an embarrassment. They lost 5-1 at home
to Plateau
United.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. Well, it's good for the game. It's good for the league that you can go away from home and hammer a club 5-1. But
I think the last game was against Boboye too, Sunshine. It was 1-1.
Yeah. So I don't know what is going on with that land, but when you remember the pedigree of this club,
absolutely,
and what this club was, what they were able to achieve,
multiple FA Cup winners, former champions.
They were dreaded side in those days. They will beat you anywhere. Rugged. I mean, if you wanted any kind of football, they were ready to play because they were strong, they were very physical and they were very good and skillful. But it's a different Atlanta that we're seeing altogether.
Well, one team that is currently blowing everyone away in the Nigeria Professional Football League, doing incredibly well, top of the league, and most likely, definitely in the running to be named champions at the end of this season, is Lobby Stars. Should get size, as they like to be, as they like to proclaim their motto. And joining us now is our is the coach of Lobby Stars now, Eugene Agbage, the man who has led Lobby Stars to the very top of the MPFL. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Makurdi. Coach Eugene, are you there? Coach Eugene Agbage, can you hear us? Okay, so I think we just have a few technical hitches, but Toy, you know Lobby Stars very well. You know our good friend, the general manager, the chairman,
the vice chairman.
The vice chairman. Is he vice chairman?
The vice chairman is the deputy governor.
Yeah,
is the deputy governor. The deputy governor is the chairman.
And he's the vice chairman.
He's the vice
former
chairman.
Nigerian international, Dominic Ayofa. He's one of the most visible figures in this Nigeria Professional Football League, and it's pretty no surprise. That's Coach Eugene Agbage, by the way.
I mean, it's a surprise.
I've never heard of him before.
I mean, it's new, but it's getting the results. Yes, while we like to give credit to the management of the team, I think we should also give credit to the coach. Because
and don't forget, they're not playing at the Upper Aku Stadium in Makurdi.
Yeah, they are playing away from home. Yes, they're playing away from home. And they're able to churn out this impressive run of results. It's really good. I'm impressed with them. But when you look at Dominic Ayofa and what he does with Lobby Stars, the way he recruits, the way he gets young players, the way he strengthens the feeder team of that club, and they're able to supply the main team. You commend him, and so I'm not surprised that they are here. I hope they're able to maintain this momentum until the end of the season.
But Wale, how does a team that doesn't play at home, not in front of his own usual stomping ground, not in front of his own supporters, having the ignominious task of playing away in a foreign land, being enemy territory?
Lafayette is just a few minutes.
Exactly.
But you know the advantage is that sometimes when you're not playing at home, the pressure is off your back.
Under less pressure.
Then the final is quality. The squad has got quality.
Sometimes when you play away from home, there's no pressure. The guys there, the home fans, the stubborn home fans are not there breathing down your neck. So you're able to express yourself and play good football.
They might not have the big players in the league, but as a unit. As a collective, they're fantastic.
Pretty good. But one man who can tell us all about that is Coach Eugene Agbage himself, who joins us live all the way from Makurdi in Benue. So, Coach Eugene, if you're there, very good evening to you all the way from Lagos here.
Wow, good evening. How are you guys?
Oh, we are fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us, Coach Eugene. We've been speaking quite eloquently about Lobby Stars and how should get size this particular MPFL season, blowing all the competition away, sitting pretty at the top of the MPFL. Tell us what has been well, let's even start with you, Coach Eugene. A lot of people have probably never heard of you. You just came out of the blue and you're doing such brilliant work.
Well, first of all, I have been on ground for a long time. I have been the coach of the youth team for years. And so, being a youth team coach for some time, I have whatever it takes to, for over 12 years, I've been a youth team. So I built myself so well that what I am doing today is not an error, or it's not a mistake, or it's not something that people will be thinking that I was not on ground. If you guys can remember last 2 seasons ago, that is 2022 to 2023 season, I was given an interim when Lobby Star was having a little crisis of going down to relegation. I was called upon for a match from the U team, and I went to Rangers. We lost that game by 5 goals to 3. But when you look at it, that was the only time Lobby Star, that very match that Lobby Star was able to score 3 goals for playing 19 matches for them to score up to 3 in a match. So it's not a surprise. You see that if the opportunity is actually being given, as I had it, now I have taken it and I'm moving on, so that people will know that when a coach is from the youth team, it's not that that coach is too bad, but that coach also has qualities to also showcase himself when opportunity comes. So I've grabbed the opportunity. That's the reason why this team, Lobby Star, is doing well. I'm bringing a character. The character which I brought in was to make the players understand that it is good to have a safe target. And when you draw a safe target in anything which you're doing, you can achieve your goal. So we look on to that safe target and we're moving on and on for it. Thank you, guys.
Coach Austin, Coach Eugene, make us speak pidgin. What will be your target for this season? What's your target for this season? Are you at the top? Are you sure you can stay at the top till the end of the season, or you will just be content with maybe finishing in the top 4?
Well, actually, I told my players, because no one, even the management, did not give me anything to look onto. They brought me in for their team so that I can be able to work with them. Nobody, even Dominic Ayofa, who is the vice chairman, never give me, draw a line for me that this is where you're going to be. But I, as a coach, what is my objective playing into the league? I should have something to give out when the season ends. So I personally, I draw a line which means that at the end of the league, I will be among the first 3. I must also try very hard to play in the continent at the end of the league. That was the target I gave to myself. So you look at it from day 1 of the league, I never leave position 1, 2, 3. Position 1, 2, 3. From the blast of the whistle, from the league, as the league kick off day 1, that is where I look onto. So with this character put on ground, you will see that I am really up to something. Thank you.
Now, Coach Dominic, great job you're doing with Lobby Stars.
Coach Eugene.
Oh,
Vice Chairman Dominic.
Coach Eugene. But Coach, I'm looking at the MPFL table, and the top 5 is separated by 3 points. I mean, that's a proper title race. You probably don't get that in Europe, in fact. But you look at the top 5, and which of the teams are you keeping an eye on? Who are you wary of?
Well, I don't look at any team among the top 5 as a threat, because we started the race together and the race is still on. So what is my own objective at the end of the season? I'm looking forward that I will continue to work hard in each of the games. I approach every game according to how that game comes. So I have nothing to be afraid of any team. Every match I take it according to how I am going to take that game. So teams that are coming, they are also having their own target for the season. So they are working hard as well as I am doing. So I don't have any fears, just like when my colleague, Finidi George, got on the top of the log, I think it was last week also, when he was top for 2 goals different away from me. He said that his objective is to have it back to back. And you look at it since then, I've never been on top since the league begins. So he got there, he said he's going to get it back to back. But you see, it's a race. So how you go about it, it is his own opinion. So I am an opinion that when you look at the race as it's going, you know who have the capacity and who is really doing it to be there. So I have nothing to say that I am afraid of any of the team which I am going to meet.
I think that's a good answer. But Coach, for those who haven't watched your team, who've never seen Lobby Stars play, how would you describe your own coaching philosophy? Do you like a physical team? Are you a passing team? Are you a possession team? Are you a wing-based team? How would you describe your own coaching philosophy and how your team plays?
Anything from Benue can be sure is power team.
Oh, there's power.
Benue is a power team.
Oh, yes.
It's a power team.
They used to have this central defender who used to play goal kicks. The opponents used to go and wait in the 18-yard board of the opponent for the ball. But how would you describe your team?
Well, my character in my team is just very simple. I don't like keeping the ball, distributing the balls around it, because you see, when you come into a field of play, the first thing, just like I asked my player, why do they play football? You play football to score goals. You don't play football to entertain. But everybody who comes to field to watch, that person have come to see how you're going to win, how they are going to celebrate goals. So I am not in that kind of character of coaches that keeping the ball, possessing the ball like that, denying the opponent from play. I play my football with speed, and speed play 2-3 touches at your box, and that is how I play my football.
Vertical football, pace and power, just like you mentioned.
From the Diego Simeone playbook.
But finally, Coach, before we let you go and enjoy your evening, I really have to ask you this question. Lobby Stars are looking good to win this title. Has the Benue State government promised you and your team some kind of rewards if the dream does come true and you do win that title, despite the fact that you've been playing most of your games away from home? Have they promised you land, houses, cars? What? Can you tell us?
No, for now, we have not come to that. When we get there, we'll...
Oh, seems as if Coach Eugene's video football. Fantastic interview with the gentleman. I like his philosophy. I mean, he says he doesn't like keeping the ball for the keeping sake. No, 2-3 touches in the opponent's box.
Now that you've got love, what do you do with it? That's the story. You have the ball.
Yeah, and this philosophy makes sense because, I mean, a couple of these match centers, I mean, the pitch is not that good. So, I mean, when you try to keep the ball, you try to play cute, trust me, you're going to get into trouble. So
yeah, exactly.
Why don't you just get physical, get substance of our style?
Speed.
Yeah, exactly.
I was talking about how teams from the old Benue State, whether it was Lobby Bank or... Coach, yes, I think we have Coach Eugene back. Coach Eugene, I was asking you that question. You talked about what the Lobby Benue State government has promised your team. You said that nothing has happened yet, but you've answered that. But I have to ask this question because we talked about it. Would you say there has been more pressure or less pressure on your team since you've been playing away in Lafayette rather than Makurdi?
Well, I put in a character that they should know that everywhere they are playing is their home. This season that we are on, because you see, last season too, Lobby Star played far away to Jos. And this season too, they were not able to complete their stadium and were moved to Latvia. So coming in, I brought in a philosophy of saying that anywhere you're playing is your home, because you must have that character before you begin to win games. Don't feel that Latvia is far away from your home. So my players now have that belief in them that as they're playing in Latvia, they are home on ground. So when you look at it, when we go to away games, it's just very unfortunate. Maybe some of you were not able to watch our away game play. We play as if we're playing in Makurdi. We are very comfortable in our play. We play with a lot of good character. We are not tense. We play the way as if we're playing at home, even in our away games.
Okay, well, Coach Eugene Akpage, it's been an absolute pleasure. Very entertaining and very educative listening to you this evening. I'm sure my co-hosts also agree with us. But thank you so much for your time. And we would like to wish Lobby Stars the very best of luck as the MPFL season draws to a close. And to remind everyone who's watching the show that shoe gets size. Thank you very much, Coach Eugene.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
When you win the title, you
you definitely come and celebrate it.
When you win the title, bring it here.
Thank you, Coach Eugene. Well, it's been very entertaining now, but we have to move on very quickly with the show. And let's talk a little bit of boxing. Just this weekend, a really excellent boxing card was held this weekend in Lagos. The lads boxing promotion, they put up a great card with some 8 excellent fights, and this was how it turned out.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's over, and it comes in the wake of the fight. Confidence takes the fight with a big hook coming, and his opponent couldn't beat the count. And it is what it is. There, what do you have to say about that? The fight has been continued. Yeah.
You can see that both boxers are absolutely fagged out, but you got to give them kudos. These are power punchers. These are middleweight punchers. And once again, both of them get each other. They've literally thrown the guards in the bin. They're going for the jugular.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a round of 8. Adewale Oladeji and Tiami Osan doing some damage to themselves. We can see we're almost in the last.
And this is usually where
you can feel the spark, you can feel the velocity, the power from Raheem and the Michelle. Somebody I want to say is Raheem Sterling.
Man, that boy's got some combinations on his
power. You can see. He's smart, he's quick, he's thinking very fast, and he knows.
You can see he's just telling him there, none of those punches really got me. And I don't think he has been troubled so far.
The fans are excited. Everybody wants to see some more action, ladies and gentlemen. The boxing world in Nigeria is so interesting. It seems to be still strong and kicking, although it still looks very strong also, but wow, a good kick.
Boxing here in Nigeria from the lads boxing promotion that took place over the weekend. Some really great bouts, 8 of them in particular. Let's quickly give you the results of those particular fights as they panned out. Was in a super bantamweight challenge. Toyiba Hassan defeated Adesina Oluwatosin, and a featherweight challenge. Aziz Latif also defeated Wahid Usman. Light welterweight challenge. Shegun Adeyemi defeated Ahmed Ganiu. In the light welterweight challenge, Taye Fajimi defeated Imole Oloyede. In the lightweight challenge, it was Emmanuel Abimbola defeating Bartholomew Abuchi Uche. And in a light welterweight challenge, Rahim Animashaw also overcame Akitunde Abolade. Tiami Hassan also overcame Adewale Oladeji, while Abubakar Babatunde also defeated Idowu Okushote in a light heavyweight challenge. Well, none of these, all really good fights, all of them, but there was no title on the line, as there will be no title on the line this Friday when that monumental clash takes place that everybody's looking forward to. Anthony Joshua, former unified heavyweight champion of the world, also facing against another beast, Francis Ngannou, former undisputed UFC champion, who shocked everyone in his first performance against the WBC champion Tyson Fury, coming up against another power hitter. And that's why this particular bout is called knockout chaos, gentlemen. It's there. I don't see this going the distance. I know somebody's going to hit the canvas. The question is who.
That's a tough one. But you know, on the strand of what Ngannou did against Tyson Fury, a lot of people are expecting that it's going to be a very tough nut to crack for Anthony Joshua, who has been trying to come back to his best shape. But it's interesting to see Joshua has also been talking about how he's been in great shape, how he's got his confidence back.
I mean, last year he had 3 straight fights.
Three straight wins.
And now he wants to use this to make a statement. So we'll see how it pans out.
Wale?
I like the look of the fight, but it's all got Joshua written all over it. I
think that was what people said about
No. Joshua also is very much wary of how much this could damage his legacy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought Fury also was wary of that, and that was why you saw him after that fight. He had to cancel his next fight against I think that was Usyk. We said
he got injured.
He got injured
in sparring. That was not.
But he probably looks at his performance against the Cameroonian and feels like I'm not ready to take on a big fight like that, because I don't think he came out in flying colors against Francis Ngannou. So I think that Joshua has to be very wary. But see, this is a mismatch. I've always said it. It's a mismatch. Best case scenario goes 3 rounds, knockout. I think Joshua knocks him out.
Wow. Yeah. Wale here is predicting a knockout for Anthony Joshua. I don't know what to say yet, but we can guarantee that we will have one of the best boxing analysts on the planet, Nnamdi Hollywood Moweta, legendary boxing promoter, journalist, and investor. He will be joining us tomorrow and Friday to preview Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. We'll take a short break now and return. Crisis in Kenya regarding Kenya's athletics, athletics trials for the Africa Games. We'll talk about all that and much more after the break. Thank you so much for staying tuned. You're still watching Game On, coming to you live here from the studios of News Central Television. So we've been having a very interesting conversation as regards Nigeria's participation in the African Games. Llanwrtyd Nigeria, and Africa's #1 table tennis player, is currently facing Omar Assar, his great rival, in the final of the men's singles. We'll be tracking that for you and let you know how that ends. Already, Nigeria has won a bronze medal in the competition today. The first medal Nigeria has won at the Games was won by Afyong Edem in the women's singles. She picked up a bronze medal. And of course, we had a wonderful discussion with Coach Eugene Agbage, coach of Lobby Stars of Makurdi, current leaders of the MPFL. We felt, quite entertained by a lot of his revelations about his team. Well, let's also tell you that matches are currently going on in the UEFA Champions League right now as we speak, and there it is on your screen. It's that game between Bayern Munich and Lazio. It might be the end, spell the end for Thomas Tuchel tonight if he loses against Lazio. There's been talk about how they might let him go before the end of his contract if they lose tonight to the Romans, but we'll be keeping an eye on that. In the other game in San Sebastian, it's Real Sociedad losing at home to Paris Saint-Germain by a lone goal. Kylian Mbappe scored that goal. It's currently 3-0 on aggregate in favor of Paris Saint-Germain. The Parisians looking to progress into the next round. Still talking about the UEFA Champions League, this season will be the final one where you see this particular format, where we have 8 groups with 4 teams. As from the 2024-25 season that begins later this year, the format of the UEFA Champions League will change completely to a new format that we've never seen before. Take a quick look at this and tell me if it's going to be a league, because as you can see, it's just one league of multiple teams, and they play in an interesting format. That's the way I can describe it, to ensure that the top 16 teams, as it were, will now qualify for the knockout phase. But Wale, I don't know what you make of this. They said if it's not broke, don't attempt to fix it. And everybody has enjoyed the UEFA Champions League as it currently exists. So why is UEFA doing this?
Yeah, but we should also remember that before this format, there was a format where we had 2 group stages.
Absolutely.
If you guys remember.
Yes.
We had 2 group stages before you got into
the knockout phase.
So, I mean, the constant thing in life has changed. So, we will fight it. I mean, we would rebel against it, but I think it's something.
The first edition.
Yeah, it's I think it's an interesting format because, like you've seen in that video, what it means is that you see the top clashes right from the get-go of the tournament, and I'm really, really up for it. And the implication of this also is that it opens extra spots for teams in the Premier League, for teams in Spain. I'm looking at the coefficients battle right now. I think Italy is still on top of the coefficient battle, so they get an extra spot for the next thing. But it's a period of change. We also have the Club World Cup coming through in Saudi Arabia as well, causing plenty of conversations about players' welfare.
Tony, that was actually my next question to you. Do you get the impression as if players are not, their welfare is not being taken into consideration, or they're not being consulted about this? Because a lot of players have also commented about how these players currently play too many games. A lot of managers, Jurgen Klopp, for instance, has always been very vocal about how these players play too many games and there's almost no time at all for rest. Do you get that impression as well?
Yeah, I'm a little worried about it as well. Too many games. I mean, the players are open to a lot of knocks. That's why you see
Greater propensity for
injuries. Although you could say that the game has improved, the science of the games, sports medicine has improved, and recoveries are faster. Injuries heal a lot earlier and faster than they used to heal in those days. But I think the guys are playing a lot of games. Some people will tell you that yes, they are making a lot more money as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what actually
because they are making a lot more money.
I think it's a lot more about money.
Yeah, but
UEFA is going to make a lot more money.
Yeah, but then at the end of the day, it comes down to the athletes, the players. Are they producing for you at the highest level? Are they giving you the quality that you want to see, or are they just becoming machines? Are they just becoming tools to achieve a goal? So if the players are not enjoying it, if the players are not giving you their A games, if the players are not producing at the highest level and giving us the game that we want to watch, it's going to trickle down at the end of the day on the quality that we see. And then it will affect every other thing along the way, because you will clearly see on the pitch that these guys are just being brought out to play.
Yeah.
Their body, their soul,
fatigue, everything.
They are just struggling. The game is becoming mechanical, and they are just playing for the fun of, for somebody else to enjoy. So I think we have to get a balance, strike a balance on how much of these guys we are dragging on and pulling through.
Look at England, for example. That means there's the English Premier League, already a tough competition. They have the EFL Cup. They have the FA Cup as well. Now they have an expanded Champions League. And all these teams can only
factor in the national teams as well.
Exactly,
international competitions.
And all these teams can only Nations League as well, and also the Africa Cup.
But there's also the question about how this format was a response to the European Super League, and this was seen as a way to negate the influence of the Super League, which is still an elephant in the room, because that project has still refused to die natural death.
Yeah, because of the money. Because, that's why I said we have to strike a balance. What do we want? Preserve the game, make more money. At the point, if there's a conflict between making more money and preserving the game, this is what you get. So we have to be sure of what we want. If we want to make more money and then turn these guys into guinea pigs or just turn them into machines, then that's what we get. But if we want to preserve the game, preserve the lives of these players, to be able to give us football of the highest quality at all times, then we have to find a way to take their welfare into concern.
I totally agree with Toyin here. He said it all. We must look at it, strike a balance whereby players are not exposed to too many games so that they don't risk burnout, and we can also watch the highest quality games available. And there's a quick update from the UEFA Champions League now. Harry Kane, the English goal machine, captain of the English national team, has put Bayern 1-0 up against Lazio, so that tie is still very much in the balance. And Harry Kane, it might just be an Englishman saving a German's job. That wouldn't have happened 50, 60 years ago, but it is what it is. Progress is the name of the sport. But guys, I really have to stay on this UEFA Champions League matter. You get the impression that CAF tends to copy everything that happens in Europe. The CAF Champions League was in response to the UEFA Champions League. Do you get the fear that we might see the Confederation of African Football, already they were talking, there's already the African Super League,
the AFL.
The AFL, there's the CAF Champions League as well. Do you think that they might have an expanded CAF Champions League following this format in order to make more money, or I don't know, merging with the Africa Super League as well? You get the impression that CAF always tend to follow in UEFA's footsteps. Yeah,
because it's, look at Gianni Infantino and look at the CAF president, that is, what's his name again? Patrice Motsepe. It's like, Motsepe is like a acolyte of Infantino. Anywhere Infantino, you see Motsepe there, they look like they are best of friends, they look like they share ideas. So I'm not surprised at that. And before the AFCON, Motsepe was talking about, they asked him the question, was the AFL, the African Football League, going to replace the CAF Champions League? And he said, no, there are two different competitions, but there might be a conversation about the AFL replacing the CAF Champions League in the future. And that's what I think. Because you look at what the AFL has brought this time around, it's brought the creme de la creme. Anybody got about $750,000? For appearance.
Almost like $1 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. And winning the CAF Champions League only gets you how much? I think last time I checked was still $3 or $4 million. And the CAF Champions League this year has been really good, but I think maybe it has outlived its. the fact that, like you said, you want to always copy Europe, it just favors the AFL, which I thought had a very good debut. It was live on YouTube.
Yeah.
It was live on the FIFA channel, FIFA
And
Plus channel.
it was a very well-organized tournament.
Yes, it was.
Infantino said something about the AFL coming to stay, and then he wasn't sure of the future of the CAF Confederation,
yeah.
the other CAF tournament. So, in a way, we'll keep our eyes open and watch what they do with the CAF Confederations Cup. Maybe the expanded
or the
format, the merging,
I don't know.
and then they bringing many teams together, you know, to start to have that kind of agreement that we have with the European game.
Yeah.
Is going to come to Africa someday. We'll keep our eyes open and watch.
Meanwhile, there's an update again in the UEFA Champions League now. Bayern have now doubled their score. It is now 2-0. It is aggregate 2-1. Bayern looking good for a place in the next round, while Paris Saint-Germain are still leading Real Sociedad 1-0 away from home, 3-0 on aggregate, looking good for Les Parisiens. And Kylian Mbappe, who might still in line for winning his first UEFA Champions League trophy. But thank you very much for joining us tonight on Game On. It's been fun. It's been entertaining. Thank you, Tony Bitoye. It's been a pleasure having you on the show and sharing from your fount of wisdom. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And of course, Wale Adigu, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks to everyone behind the scenes who made this show particularly possible. But before we go, did you ever know that there was actually a man versus horse marathon? Yeah. Men competing against horses. The man versus horse marathon is actually an annual race over 22 miles, that's 35 kilometers, where runners compete against riders on horseback through a mix of road, trail, and mountainous terrain. The race, which is a shorter distance than an official marathon, takes place in a Welsh town every June. And believe it or not, it actually started in 1980, and the last edition was held in 2023. Only 4 times have humans ever won the race, so which is pretty unsurprising. Which is pretty surprising because I never.
The horses died.
This reminds me of the song the horse.
The man, the son, yeah. But I'm even surprised even men won at all. But
how could they have happened?
It's surprising. Well, thank you very much for joining us this evening on Game On. The show makes a return today. Tomorrow, I beg your pardon. My name is Babatunde Kweki. Wish you a wonderful evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.